Hello friends, in this video we will cover the nomenclature or the chemical formula of ethane-based refrigerants. And just to remind you, if you have not seen the nomenclature of methane-based refrigerants, just go to my first video, the link of which I will put in the comment sections. So please be with the video, watch the entire video till the last, and also check the link in the comment so that all your doubts will be clear regarding the nomenclature of refrigerants. So in this video we will be covering nomenclature, chemical formula of ethane-based refrigerants. Ethane-based refrigerants. Chemical formula. So we all know the general formula of alkane is CnH2n plus 2, and when we talk of ethane there would be two carbon atoms, carbon would be 2, and whereas in methane there is only one carbon. So we all know the formula of carbon is methane is CH4, and whereas when it comes to ethane it is C2H6. How C2H6? You put 2 in place of N, C2H2 into 2 plus 2, so that gives C2H6. So we are talking the nomenclature of ethane-based refrigerants. In the previous video we have seen how to find out formula for methane-based refrigerants. So here the simplest trick is to identify who all are ethane-based refrigerants. So next to R, whenever you see a 3-digit figure, you would soon decide that this is going to be ethane-based refrigerant. Suppose 234 or R134A. You all know R134A. Just don't get confused by this alphabet A. You should always read the figure, that is whether it's 2-digit or 3-digit figure next to R. So all the 3-digit figures are next to R. That helps us decide that this is an ethane-based refrigerant. And whenever you see R, suppose R11, R12, R22, R42, these all are methane-based refrigerants. Here we can see 2-digit figure. This is 2-digit figure next to R. So this is methane-based. So this is the simplest method to distinguish between methane-based and ethane-based. So here we are just trying to understand how to find out the formula for ethane-based refrigerants. So let me just quickly recall how we were trying to calculate formula for methane-based refrigerant. Suppose R11 was there. So you have to decide between carbon, chlorine, fluorine and hydrogen atom. That was the case in case of methane-based refrigerants. Similar is the approach with ethane-based refrigerants. So that we were doing their pictorial representation, bond presentation for carbon, and we all know carbon is tetravalent, its valency is 4. So this is always going to be bonded with 4 other atoms, 4 other similar atoms or dissimilar atoms. So here, and this is in the case of methane, because only one carbon will come in picture in case of methane. When it is ethane, it's always C2H6. So there are 2 number of carbon atoms. So there we will see 2 carbon atoms in picture. Whenever you do bond arrangement, bond presentation, there would be 2 carbon atoms, and these all are going to be bonded with 4. For each of the carbon atoms, they are going to be bonded with 4 other atoms. So what we were doing in case of methane-based refrigerants, whenever you see a 2-digit figure, first digit -1 will give the number of hydrogen atoms, and second digit belong to fluorine. So we have to give 4 different elements or 4 similar elements to this carbon. See, the carbon is tetravalent. So here, as we got 0 number of hydrogen atoms, so hydrogen will not come into picture. And as if you have to really see my first video, I will put the link in comment section. So first digit -1 give the number of hydrogen atoms. Second digit, as it is, whatever is you see in the second digit, second place, will belong to fluorine. So 1 will go to fluorine, there will be no hydrogen, right? I will use a separate bond presentation to show how fluorine, chlorine and hydrogen are going to this vacant position. So 1 will go to fluorine, and since there is no hydrogen, So what all positions will be taken by which element? So these all will be taken by chlorine. Chlorine will occupy the rest of the positions. So the formula would be CFCl3. This is the formula for R11. So now quickly we will advance into ethane based refrigerants. So for example R112 we have. So similar to the approach we have seen in methane based. So here we can see there are 3 digit. It's a 3 digit figure. So here we were doing -1 in the first digit. In the case of R112, see it's a 3 digit figure, we have to ignore first digit. You don't have to do anything to the first digit. You are not worried about the first digit. First digit here we see is 1, second digit is 1 again, and third digit, what do you see here, is 2. So here there is a little change in the approach of ethane based refrigerant. You don't have to do anything to the first digit. You have to simply ignore this, hide this, and after hiding you are left with 1 and 2. So second digit again -1 will be the number of hydrogen atoms, right? And third digit again, as you were doing in case of methane based refrigerant, second digit belong to fluorine. Here also third digit will go to directly to fluorine. This will entirely be taken by fluorine. So now we can do the carbon bond presentation. And as it is ethane based refrigerant, see, as we know the general formula is C2. So 2 carbon will always come, and 1 carbon atom will have 4 valency. So 4 number of atoms of similar element or dissimilar atoms will be occupied. So we will always going to write 2 carbon. So see, here we have 2 fluorine, right? We can simply award 2 fluorine to this carbon, and rest would be taken by chlorine. So you can see there are how many positions are vacant: 1, 2, 3 and 4. So all will be taken by chlorine. All will be taken by chlorine. So now we are in a position to write the formula. So see here, what is the formula? C2. And how many fluorine? F2. And what about chlorine? This is 1, 2, 3, 4. So how this is coming? And there is no hydrogen because this is number is 0. And so this is the approach, very similar to the approach. And no need to worry, we will see more examples. First was R112, like there are more number of ethane based refrigerants. So the concept and the approach will be very much clear to you as you advance into other refrigerants. So please be with the video, watch till end, and you will be in a position to clarify all your doubts regarding nomenclature or chemical formula of the refrigerants. So ethane-based refrigerants, we are going by the easiest trick. Easiest trick, and nowhere else you will learn this method. So we have covered, as of now, we have covered all the methane-based refrigerants. Now let's start ethane-based refrigerants. So as I have shown you ethane-based, in the ethane-based refrigerants, how to decide, how to distinguish between methane and ethane. Whenever you see a 3-digit figure next to R, 3-digit figure next to R, that you can simply decide this is an ethane based refrigerant. And whenever you see a 2-digit figure, suppose R11, R12, that is methane based, and R, suppose for example one you take, for example R132 or R412. So these all are ethane based, because why? You see, you have seen 3-digit figure next to R. And again, as you have seen, the general formula for alkane is CnH2n plus 2. So for methane it is CH4. There is only one carbon atom. For ethane takes two carbon atoms, and each carbon is tetravalent. Its valence is 4. So each of the carbon would be bonded with 4 other atoms. It can be carbon. So each of the carbon would be bonded with 4 other atoms, similar atoms or dissimilar atoms, means atoms of another elements as well. So in ethane based refrigerants, so whenever you see a 3-digit figure next to R, suppose I write 113, it can be another refrigerant is 114, or suppose 134, that is the most popular, most widely used. This is eco-friendly refrigerant or 134A. We will see the nomenclature of all of these, but we'll cover one by one. And please be with me in the entire video, and you have to learn the method, and you have to find out the easiest method. You have to save your time, and you have to land at the correct option whenever you find such questions. So let's start one. The approach is similar, slight different from what we have seen in methane based refrigerant. And also let me just quickly recap the formula, how to find out nomenclature for methane based. Suppose R23 is there. So what we were doing, first digit minus 1 was always giving you number of hydrogen atoms. Suppose 2 minus 1 is equal to 1. So this is always the number of hydrogen atoms. Number of hydrogen atoms. And second digit, we were not doing anything. We were just writing as it is. Uh, 3 is solely taken by or entirely taken by fluorine. Here what we will do in case of ethane, the 3-digit figure is there. So first digit, you don't have to touch this. You should not be worried about what you see in the first digit. So 1, you have to keep aside. You don't need to see it even. You're not worried about. You should not be bothered about what you see in the first digit. So come to the second digit. Second digit is 1. I'm just talking about, we are now covering ethane based refrigerant. So second digit is, in case of R113, second digit is 1. Second digit is 1. Here again you have to subtract minus 1. What you were doing in methane based, you were subtracting 1 from the first digit. You were landing at the number of hydrogen atoms. That is how. Here you are subtracting 1 from what you see in the second digit. So 1 you see in the second digit minus 1 is 1. So again 0. So 0 is taken by the number of hydrogen atoms. So no as hydrogen will come in the picture while you are writing the formula. Third digit, now come to the third digit. There are 3 digits, so this is a 3-digit figure. Third digit would be taken again by fluorine. In case of methane based, the second digit was taken by fluorine. You are not adding or subtracting even, and first digit you were subtracting 1. So here again, you should not be worried about first digit. Just hide this and you are left with 13 only, 1 3. So you did the subtraction from with 1, and you are just giving the all the number of atoms that you see in the third digit to fluorine. But if you go on, since this is ethane based, so directly you will know, decide that there would be 2 number of carbon atoms, and you have to fill all the this vacancy with certain elements or atoms of the same similar element. So let me just write this. We will do this for all of the ethane based refrigerants to make this simpler for you, and your all of your doubts and confusions will go away. So here it is. So as we have seen, the number of hydrogen is 0, so no H will come here. Fluorine is 3. So you can just, your wish, if you want, you can give fluorine, 3 fluorines to here. So you can see for this carbon, all the 4 bonds are filled. One with carbon only, and 3 are taken by fluorine. You see there are still 3 vacancies. So the remaining would be taken by chlorine, as we were doing in case of methane based refrigerants. So the rest was always taken by chlorine. Here also, whatever you see, you have to decide between chlorine, fluorine and H, right? So rest would always be taken by chlorine. So here you can just present Cl. So the formula is, you see 3 number of fluorine, you see 3 number of fluorine. So the formula for R113 is CF3Cl3. This is how you got the formula. So this is actually C2, 2 number of carbon. C2, don't get confused, there are 2 number of carbon atoms. C2, C2F3Cl3. Now let's proceed to another ethane based refrigerant. As I said, ethane based refrigerants always you will see a 3-digit figure next to R. So let's quickly decide, find out the nomenclature for second is R114. You will see a slight difference, slight variation as you go down. you cover the remaining ethane-based refrigerants. So here again, first digit you are not worried about what you see in the first digit. Second digit -1 is always the number of hydrogen atoms, 0, 0 hydrogen. Third digit is 4. Third digit is 4. Third digit is 4, and that is entirely taken by fluorine. Fluorine. And as this is ethane-based refrigerant, there would be two number of carbon. The carbon is tetravalent. Each of the carbon is tetravalent. Sorry. So as you don't see any number of hydrogen atoms, so this would entirely be taken by either fluorine or chlorine. You see four number of fluorine. You can just quickly fill fluorine, four number of fluorine. For one carbon, you have just occupied this with 3 fluorine, and we can just advance to second carbon atom. You can just give 1 fluorine to here in for this carbon, and there are still two vacancies, so these two would be filled by chlorine. You have just studied, you have just learned how chlorine is filling up the these vacancies. So you got the formula here: 4 number of fluorine and 2 number of carbon, 4 number of fluorine, and there are two chlorine, so C2F2Cl2. So you got the formula for R114 is C2F4Cl2. This you have to see in the options when you are writing the exam, when you are hitting any such question that is asking to find out the nomenclature of any refrigerant. So this should be your approach. Now let's advance to third ethane based refrigerant. Again, this is R115. If you have seen this entire video, all of your confusions will go away, and you will land yourself in a very confident and comfortable position that you're not going to miss such questions. R115. So first digit we are not bothered about. We are not worried about first digit whatever we see. Come to the second digit. It is 1. So second digit -1 is 0. This is the number of hydrogen atoms. So H will not come in the picture while we are writing the formula. Third digit is 5. This is entirely taken by fluorine. We are not adding or subtracting anything with the third digit. So just present this, give the pictorial presentation of the bonds. All the two carbon atoms would be occupied with bonded with four other atoms of the same element or different element. So here as we can see fluorine, so you have to fill 5 fluorine. Anyhow you can present 3 are taken here, 2 would be taken here, and rest would be taken by, as I said, you have to decide between chlorine and H only. H is 0 here, so between you are left with the option fluorine and chlorine. Fluorine is already decided 5, so 1 is taken by chlorine. So this you got C2 formula. Now we are adding the formula C2F5. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1 is chlorine. So this is how you got the formula for R115 C2F5Cl. Next we are going to see R123. This is also an ethane based refrigerant. We are ignoring, we are not bothered about the first digit. So come to the second digit is 2. Second digit is 2. 2 minus 1 is equal to 1. So 1 here hydrogen will come into picture while we are adding the formula. So 1 is taken by H. Third digit is 3. This belongs to fluorine. Now just quickly write this bond presentation. So 3 is the number of fluorine. Just fill this vacancies. For this carbon is entirely bonded. There is no vacancy for this carbon. And for this one you can give hydrogen here, and there are 2 vacancies now. So this you can give to chlorine because remaining are always taken by chlorine. So now you got the formula for this. How many fluorine? 3 fluorine, 1 H, and there are 2 chlorine. So you got the formula CF3HCl2. CF3HCl2. If you see in the option while you're writing the exam, if you see any element before this or this, but this is not going to be repeated, so the order can be different, but this option you will not see this in two different options, so don't get worried about that. So this is how we are getting the formula. We will see 2 3 more. ethane-based refrigerants. So now number 5, we have just covered 4 number of ethane-based refrigerants. We have just found out the formula. And next we can see R124. So here first digit is, what do you see in the first digit is 1. We are not concerned. We are not bothered about the first digit. Second digit is 2. Second digit is 2. So 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 is the number of hydrogen atoms. 1 belongs to H. For third digit is, what do you see, third is digit is 4. So you don't need to add or subtract here. Third digit as it is you have to give to fluorine, so 4 belongs to F. Now you give the pictorial representation, carbon is tetravalent. There are 4 valencies, 4 for each of the carbon. One carbon is taken bonded by another carbon atom, and rest you have to give to some certain elements. So from above you can give one H here, and you can give 2F to one carbon and 2F to another carbon, and you still see one vacancy that has to be bonded with another carbon atom. So you can just give 2, remaining is always filled by chlorine. Now you found out the formula, you can just write CH, 1H, 1 hydrogen, there are 4 fluorine and 1 chlorine. This is how you got the formula. What is the formula? CHF4. CHF4. You can write it either way, CClHF4, but this option is not going to be repeated. Means order can be changed, but you will not see this in 2 different options. Now the most popular refrigerant, we are going to write out the formula for most popular refrigerant. This is eco-friendly refrigerant that is widely being used in the air conditioning purposes. So R30 134A. So here also just ignore this. You should not get worried about A. We have to be worried about this 3-digit figure that you see next to R. So 1. So first digit you have to ignore again. Come to second digit. Second digit minus 1 is 2. So 2 is the number of hydrogen atoms. 2 is the number of hydrogen atoms. Third digit is 4. 4 directly belongs to fluorine. Now give pictorial representation for the carbon bonds. So you have just seen 2 is the hydrogen atom. You can give 2 hydrogen to this carbon. 1 is left, so you can give 1 fluorine to this carbon. There are 3 more fluorine to come, F, F and F. You have seen all the vacancies for the 2 carbon atoms are filled, are occupied. There is no vacancies for any chlorine. Chlorine always comes into picture whenever there is a vacancy, so all the remaining vacancies are taken by chlorine. So here you got the formula how C2H2 and F4. This is the formula, C2H2 and F4. Now we can see another ethane-based refrigerant. These why we have covered all these refrigerants, because these are widely being used. These are the most popular refrigerants, and they are likely to be asked in the exam. So R152. So again this is 3-digit figure. First digit next to R you have to ignore. You are not bothered about the first digit. Second digit is 5. 5 minus 1 is 4. 4 is number taken by hydrogen atoms. Third digit is 2. This is entirely taken by fluorine. This third digit belongs to fluorine. Now you do the pictorial representation for carbon, the 2 carbon. So the valencies, so 4 number of hydrogen, so you can give 3 hydrogen to this carbon and 1 hydrogen to this, and the rest would come to this 2 fluorine. There is again no place for chlorine to get bonded with carbon. So now you can write the formula, C2H4F2. This is just the reverse of this R134. You can just see by just doing this pictorial representation of bonds, you are quickly landing at the formula. So this is the best possible method and the easiest trick to know the chemical formula of all the refrigerants. Refrigerants are categorized into methane based or ethane based. So this is how, I hope you like the video and you have got the best possible approach for landing at the chemical formula or nomenclature of refrigerants. If this video helps you, do subscribe to the channel and stay tuned to receive all such informative videos and strategy, tips, and guidance on mechanical and current affairs. Do share the channel with your friends as well. We'll meet in the next video. Thank you.